that good old, almost nostalgic aroma of filter coffee to the more fashionable, frothy cappuccinos we sip at cafes these days, India is busy brewing its own special coffee culture. Creativity can now be seen in coffee menus as well, as blends and flavors are being experimented with to take coffee consumption in India to a new high. And to cash in on that, the India International Coffee Festival 2012 invited coffee stakeholders from across the world to find ways to make bitter coffee taste sweet success in India.
I'm very happy to be here with you, the 4th India International Coffee Festival. It's good that this year you have chosen the theme of growing with coffee. More important, that it is being held in India's capital city.
India also plays a pioneering role in another interesting development of the world coffee economy, the trade of coffee among producing countries. It imports substantial volumes of green coffee from other Asian producers, processes into soluble form, and then re-exports with added value. In recent years, India's domestic consumption has increased tremendously as well. So it is of very particular importance at the present time, since we face major problems and challenges. Demand prospects for coffee continue to be promising, particularly in emerging markets and coffee-producing countries, in addition to niche markets in traditional importing countries. However, promotion efforts aimed at increasing consumption, both in exporting countries and non-traditional markets, are necessary to support prices in the medium to long run. As I noted above, the experience of India in increasing domestic consumption should be an inspiration for us all.
Another noted achievement of Indian coffee sector is the steady, robust growth witnessed in the domestic consumption of coffee during the last about 7-8 years, which was 6% plus per annum. The growing domestic market offers unique opportunities and challenges. It offers tremendous potential to the coffee growers for vertical diversification through value addition in terms of R&G coffee and stand-alone cafes. It can also act, and indeed acting, as a cushion to price fluctuations in the international market, thereby improving the sustainability of coffee farmers. It has the potential to provide substantial employment opportunities in the areas of roasting, grinding, packaging, cafe segment, etc. It is expected that cafe segment alone is likely to turn out $800 to 900 million business by 2015. Presently, this is of the order of about 200 to 300 US million. With cafes, right now we have about 2,000 branded cafes. This number is likely to move to 5,000 by the year 2015. The cafe segment can also create, this alone, leaving apart roasting, grinding, etc. It has the potential of creating about 30 to 40,000 jobs in the next 4 or 5 years.
The aroma of freshly brewed coffee beans dominated the 4th India International Coffee Festival, which was held for the first time in New Delhi. Organized by the India Coffee Trust with the support of the Coffee Board of India, the festival attracted industry stakeholders hoping to study the Indian market to explore business tie-ups and possibilities in this exciting and growing industry.
IICF was conceived in 2001 in the middle of one of the worst coffee recessions in the history of the industry, brought on by unsustainable global coffee surpluses. A few of us in the industry, comprising all stakeholders, felt that a long-range strategy to increase coffee consumption in India was the best answer to the volatility of global coffee prices.
The Coffee Dev Group is honored to be a part of this August gathering here tonight. We always believed that India International Coffee Festival plays a significant role in the development of coffee and consumption in India. These are exciting times for the coffee industry and more so for the cafe industry.
Did you know that coffee stands as second to oil when it comes to global commodity trade? The beverage, which already is a hot favorite in Europe, North and South America, is finding favor in the rest of the world too. India, which is the 5th largest coffee exporter, is also one of the fastest growing coffee consumers in the world.
During the last decade, 2000 to 2010, world coffee consumption has increased at an annual growth rate of 2.5%, 105.5 million bags to 135.04 million bags. Again, here what's interesting is that the rest of India consumption has grown at a whopping 42%.
I think it's quite clear with high growth rates in the economy and the enormous growth of coffee actually in the rest of the world as a drink, that there's a huge untapped market in the north. And to my mind, that holds open the possibility of tremendous downstream value-added activity, not just in processing coffee and roasting it and so on, but blending it and creating brand identification. I would expect to see a doubling of per capita income every 9 years. And that essentially means that something in the order of 500 million people by the end of this period would get into the income bracket where they would be spending on things like drinking coffee outside.
Bursting out of the traditional filter coffee consuming areas of South India, the taste for espressos, cappuccinos and tens of other flavors of coffee has taken the young Indian consumer by storm. Coffee has mushroomed across the Indian landscape, from Hyderabad to Shimla and from Chandigarh to Agartala. Young India has taken to the cafe culture with a vengeance, and this has created vast business opportunities.
The Indian consumer has also come of age. There is a lot of exposure internationally. People are well traveled. If they don't travel, there is a lot of exposure thanks to the internet and readings, and a lot of every consumer is more conscious of what's happening around the world. We are not just internally centered, and that is what has created awareness about coffee drinking as a habit in some places and as luxury or as a leisure or pastime as well. So evolved consumers of coffee are talking about coffee in a more evolved state in the sense of origins, taste profiles, quality of the end cup, etc., etc. And people who are not attuned to drinking coffee don't mind trying it now. There is a lot more acceptability to go out there and pick up their first cup of instant coffee either in a cafe or through sachets in the market.
Our company, which is Lavazza, has a presence in almost all this except instant. And we are seeing robust growth not only in cafes, we are seeing good growths in vending, we are seeing good growths in Horeca, the hotel industry, new hotels coming up. And we are seeing clearly a preference for cold coffees, etc. during the summer. So all in all, the trend across segments, across categories is very bullish.
The industry would need highly skilled roasters, quality testers and baristas, and a large number of semi-skilled and unskilled jobs in roasting, grinding, packaging units, retail shops and cafes. The coffee board is ready to perform its part of the job in terms of capacity building in roasting, grinding and brewing, promoting consumption, extending support for setting up of the roasting and grinding units, and so on.
We have to offer them a diversity. What that means is there's a huge growth opportunity. We do this through education, growth opportunity.
Coffee industry experts, prospective entrepreneurs from across the world were there to share their knowledge and insights about the possibilities that are emerging in the Indian market.
Emerging markets show some very high growth rates. In fact, if it's providing an opportunity for consumers to drink coffee at home, what that means is there's a huge growth opportunity for that business in this market. I think the growth of the younger, well-educated, a little bit more affluent consumers throughout the world clearly is driving it in emerging markets and producing markets. The growth in global coffee markets, it's going to continue for the foreseeable future. I haven't seen any analysis by any group that hasn't thought it's going to continue to grow.
If you as producers in India are looking for a way forward in Europe, look at what you do well, look at what you're doing better than anybody else in the world, and look at how you can penetrate the European market even more by by using and selling and developing your fine, fantastic washed Robustas, just like the one that I drank earlier on this morning.
In the last decade, the coffee consumption going from 50,000 tons to over 100,000 tons. What do we see in Indian coffee industry coming? In my opinion, there will be again a change from the traditional South Indian brewed coffee to large areas, large consumers in the north. I see a very bright, personally, and of course, my company's future is linked to this very well. Thank you very much.